Hey, so let's see if we can find some awesome projects to reply to and win some work today. We're going to start with Feedbin. That's where I usually start kind of my searches. I just kind of want to walk you through the process. So um, I've set up some filters here in Feedbin, and I've added a bunch of different sources for jobs. I walk through setting this up in my program Endless Clients. So I'd like to go to starred. Since I've set up kind of a feed here, I've also set up some rules to star stuff depending on what I'm looking for. Um, so I'd like to just kind of go through the starred feed and look at the names here. This first one I saw said optimal digital marketing web/conversion designer. So I clicked on that. Due to my rules that I have set up in my starred rules, I know that if I click on one of these, it's going to have something in the job description that it most likely will have something in the job description that indicates that it's probably a freelance or a contract or a RFP. So I'll just go through here quickly. I don't have to be as thorough as I kind of go through these because I know that they're kind of already been pre-sorted, but I'm still just going to click on a few that look interesting based on kind of the name. This one looked interesting to me because it said credit repair cloud digital marketing designer. When they have specific things like that in the name, I feel like it tends to be higher quality. Like if it has a name of a company just out in the open, that to me tends to indicate like they're just going to have an easier process to work with. I'm clicking on some of these that say anywhere. I'm clicking on this. This one said web in slash interactive designer, which seems relevant for the types of gigs I'm looking for. So basically what I'm doing here is just going through a bunch of different sources, and I'm just opening them up. I'm not worrying about filtering through them right now because right now I'm just kind of just trying to open up everything that looks somewhat related, somewhat interesting, and then I'll batch the process of kind of going through and getting rid of anything that's not relevant here in a second, which I'll walk through as well. This one, volunteer developer, so I'm not going to click that one. That'll save me a click later. Let's see. So as you can see, like even just here in Feedbin, in literally a couple minutes, you're able to get like this. There's probably enough jobs here that I could there's at least going to be one or two here that are going to be relevant to me as a freelancer or an agency owner. That in just a few minutes of work, you can find like a couple good leads, right? Yeah, you're not going to win them all, obviously. But if you do something like this every day, it's really not that much work, and it actually does end up kind of accumulating over time. Once a day, that's 30 a month, and 30 a month is enough to actually land a project if you actually apply and follow up and follow through on the whole process. Following up on one lead isn't a huge amount of work, and yet in my experience it results. That's the difference between a consistent six-figure business and something like feast or famine, or like a $30,000 business where you're just kind of up and down. Maybe one year you make 30, one year you make 60, one year you make 120, but there's no real consistency because you don't have kind of a process for finding leads worth approaching and then approaching them. So this is kind of what I walk through, how to set up the system. This is just Feedbin, so it's just one of the actual sources for work that I walk through, but in my program Endless Clients. But yeah, I wanted to kind of walk through the process here of clicking through what it looks like. As you can see, I'm clicking on a ton of stuff. Anything that looks relevant, like website RFP, I'll click on. Sometimes you can tell just from the look of it that some of these actually are just going to be spam, like website proposal template download. So it's picking it up and it's putting it in here because one of my feeds says to like look for website RFP, or see how this one says RFP response. So that's why it's getting put in here. But based on kind of how it's laid out, I know that this is probably not relevant. So over time, you can really speed up the process for yourself just by by becoming familiar with how the keywords people are using. You get to really be familiar with that stuff over time. So that's another reason to do it yourself for at least a month, and then start to outsource it. You can record a video much like this one, kind of sharing what you've learned, and what your specific freelance business and agency business is interested in and not interested in, and what to look for your specific business. That's stuff that you can include kind of in a tutorial video, or a video that you kind of share with VA or somebody on your team that you're looking to outsource it to. And that can kind of be their responsibility, or they can even do it from the start and record the video and share what their process, so that way you're kind of out of it from the start. But I do recommend some collaboration. Since you're the owner, you'll probably want to help the person, at least at the beginning, maybe having a weekly review, doing this process together at the start, and then kind of having it be on their plate as a daily or weekly thing for them to do. Okay, I think we've clicked on enough here. I'm gonna keep going through, see just in case I missed anything from the last 7 days. I want to go at least back 7 days, because the last time I did it was a week ago. But I do have enough volume here from Feedbin to kind of keep moving forward and try a couple different ones I want to show as well. Okay, pretty much it. A couple here, but not too relevant. This one I'll click on, this one I'll click on, and that's about it. Okay, so Feedbin was one. Then I'm gonna go over to LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I've found to be one of the better places to find work. You do it by searching your RFPs, website design, or whatever your type of work you're looking for is. Then you sort by posts, then you sort by latest, and here we go. So there is some stuff coming up here. I keep on with the command click. That's the command I use to open it up in a new tab, so that I can just keep scrolling and keep going down. Anything I see that's relevant, people posting, hey, we've got an RFP, hey, it's over here on our site, hey, check it out. I'm clicking on. I like talking to people directly, so that's one reason I really like LinkedIn for this process. Yeah, these are 2 weeks ago, so then I can just kind of change this up a little bit. Instead of website design, I'll do graphic design. See if anything comes up. There are a couple here, and there's probably more to talk about in the actual phase where we're going to go through these and sift through them and exit out of them. But for right now, I just want to get a good number of tabs open here and show you the process. Even digital marketing might work as well as a term. It's kind of up to you to decide what sort of terms to use for your searches and for the Feedbin feeds that you're going to be putting in. However, one tip I do have is to keep it broad. A lot of times people try to go too niche at the beginning of the process. Like if they're a graphic designer, they'll look for like startup graphic design and try to like limit it to that from day one, when that's just not going to have enough volume. So keeping it broad and just keeping it to graphic design at the beginning, and seeing what kind of volume there is for something broad like that. And then if you start to see some trends like, a lot of these ones that I'm applying to that make sense for me are in this specific niche, then it might make sense to kind of narrow down, but using kind of the market data first and to inform your decision, as opposed to just using your, whatever you have preconceived that you think will be best, is a good idea. Okay, so as you can see, I've got like a billion tabs here open. Now we're going to go through them as quickly as possible. This is kind of the sifting part, and I'll walk through what to do. It's Command W to close a tab, so I'll do that now. And that's kind of the process for sifting through some of these. So I just give it a quick look. Check out Sarah Scooter's interview and with James Lee. So this is actually not an RFP opportunity at all. So I'll Command W. Web design and branding marketing experts. Check out this opportunity to work with an established arts nonprofits. So this is actually relevant, right? So here it is. This is the link that they're linking to. I'll click on that. Whatever it is. So this is the actual RFP. That way I can click exit out of that one. And so I've kind of just mentally separated this from the rest. So I have one that I found that I want to pursue, and I'll keep going to the next tab. Once I'm actually ready to pursue, I'll have maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 tabs here, and I'll know that all of these are relevant. And so either I can pass it off to kind of my proposal queue, or and again, all of this is stuff that like I walk through in depth in Endless Clients. But yeah, so I'll like separate those 7, 10 links that actually are worth replying to, and I'll hand them off either to somebody on my team. I'll put them into Basecamp or wherever it is that we house kind of the process. That way we can kind of keep moving forward. Okay, so I'll look at this one. Request for proposal, digital marketing resources and training for industrial export development. The project will ask the selected vendor to produce a strategic digital manual and training program that will help industry organizations build their capacity. Okay, so this digital manual, this is more of like a consulting, like a training manual. So it's not something that's relevant. I'm looking for digital marketing, so website design, marketing, RFP release for graphic design, summer writing proposals due April 19th. That's today. I'm going to give it a quick look just in case they updated the date. Doesn't look like they updated the date. That's going to be too close. I like to give at least a week, but otherwise it would have been a really nice thing to share. Looks like a good opportunity. I like RFPs that are shared on their own website. So as opposed to maybe an RFP site, I like it when it's on the actual organization's website. That to me indicates they're kind of going through a process. They have a team. It indicates, it's yeah, just compared to like an RFP site, who knows how many people are going to these RFP sites and stuff. This, to me, it limits the volume of applicants and therefore kind of increases the chances that my company could be selected for this because it's just posted on the site. Yes, it's public, but an organization like this, they're probably going to post it in a couple places, maybe LinkedIn, which is where we found it, maybe Facebook or something, and like, who knows how big their audience is. They might have a large audience, but they also might not have that large of an audience. So if you're replying to this RFP, I think it's a good idea to that's a good quality indicator, a good indication of like you'll have a pretty good chance, right? So yeah, this is it, but it's unfortunately too close to the date. Now this one, they link off directly to the RFP. It says Toronto Zoo RFP for design interpretive fabrication installation. This is probably going to be not relevant, even though there is maybe a graphic design element to it. It looks like the bulk of the project is going to be, let's see, looking for I'm scanning it quickly. I'm trying to get a sense of what is the actual work in the project. Yeah, so this one has actually 3-dimensional design for all exhibits, interior construction. It does have the graphic design, art direction, but this is going to be a pretty niche, larger type project, more for an agency that has kind of the 3D capability. I know a couple people who this could be interesting for. I might put it aside just to send it to them directly. But as far as like my needs, I'm going to go ahead and skip it for now. Proposal, executive roles. This looks like a job. I'm going to close out of that. Attention, graphic designers. Lincoln, in partnership with has released its request for proposal to design official logo and branding. Maximum budget $3,500. Application until April. So that budget is probably not big enough for an actual agency, but some logo designer on my list would probably be open to that budget, so I'll put it aside. Health Quality Council of Alberta seeking vendor for contracted graphic design services. So I'll click on that. See how on LinkedIn, actually pretty high percentage of these that I'm clicking on are relevant and pretty high quality. Like this could be an agency gig. This is Health Quality Council of Alberta. Like that's something that is high quality enough for an agency to kind of go through. And so we've spent a couple minutes here. I walked you through kind of the process of finding some of these. I'm going to keep going through the rest of these and post the rest of these to my referral newsletter. But that's kind of the process. This is kind of what I advise agencies and freelancers getting started to build into their business. I've talked a little bit about outsourcing. I've talked a little bit about kind of, I didn't cover actually how to find the leads, how to find these sources, but that's all covered in Endless Clients. Yeah, so hopefully this was helpful in kind of showing you a bit of the process. Again, check out Endless Clients, folio.me/products/endless-clients. You can sign up for the waiting list once we open up that up. But go to folio, folyo.me. That's where you can sign up to my newsletter, and kind of you'll hear about kind of the launch of Endless Clients there as well. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful in helping you find some clients.